blockchain-based securities. So do we actually try to convince these new, basically legacy players to change, or what should we do? Basically, our approach is that we shouldn't be concentrating on the legacy players. Instead, we should be concentrating on the problems that current market structure has in place. So some of the things that, problems in the corporate bond market that currently exist are, lack of access to capital basically because it's very costly to raise capital in the current conditions, specifically in the, let's say private placements transactions. It can cost up to 5.8% of the amount you're raising. There's, once the deal is done, there's a limited liquidity available for privately placed bonds specifically, and the statistics show that the stock market has 12 times the volume of trading, although the fixed income market is 6 times larger per issued amount. And the other thing is that all of these assets are still very analog. If you think about it, there's a lot of PDFs, Excel spreadsheets floating around that reconciliations happening manually and so on. So there's a lot of intermediaries that do a lot of manual things. And with the sort of help of blockchain, a lot of these things can be automated and digitized. So if you think about just the evolution of the market, at the very beginning it started as the paper-based, everything is manual, everything is slow, and the paper notes are delivered physically to each other, and there's a lot of middlemen involved in the transactions. The next step in evolution was electronic trading, when the information can travel pretty much instantly over the internet, and you can gather the information, but still, the assets and cash is disconnected from the information. So that's why the settlement times are so long, such as T+3 and so on. And there's still a lot of middlemen involved. The future, though, in this evolution is about digitizing and digitally native assets that travel pretty much instantly over the shared ledger. And a lot of servicing can be done in an automated manner between the independent participants in the market. And ultimately, the market will tend to be sort of like a machine-to-machine instead of human-to-human. And if you take a look at what's happening right now in the world, then you'll see in the news that pretty big, large players are participating in the market and developing their own solutions as the optimization tools for their back office, middle office processes. The problem with this is that these platforms are disconnected from each other. So everybody's building on their own sort of databases, on their own infrastructures. But the problem is that there's no unifying standard, there's no unifying ledger, no unifying rules that apply for all of these assets. So for us, our mission really at FIC Network is to create this turnkey platform that is an independent brand from all the banks and other players, specifically focused on the debt capital markets, which can be used by banks, can be used by companies/issuers, and can be used by investors. It is built solely on Stellar ledger as of today. And it basically allows all of the sort of process end-to-end life cycle of the security, from issuance, fundraising, to administering these assets, such as paying the coupon payment over the blockchain, and also secondary trading. And the community, the infrastructure that we have in place is sort of, from top down. We have the ecosystem of, sort of target clients that we have. We're targeting issuers, investors, service providers, broker-dealers, and trading firms that are connected to two products that we have. One is sort of the platform that allows a tokenization, let's call it, or an administration of these assets. And the second one is more like a regulated activity, which is markets, which is secondary trading. In order to fulfill this vision, we still actually need to partner up with regulated entities such as broker-dealers. And what we have created in order to basically translate all of the business logic and apply it to the blockchain we have created what we call BOP protocol. BOP protocol stands for Bonds on the Blockchain Protocol, that applies to pretty much every single thing that is involved in the life cycle of a fixed income security. And it all settles on Stellar, and smart contracts basically functionality is also based on Stellar. In the future, as we grow, we probably will integrate with other settlement layers, just because securities will be issued on different ledgers. But right now, we have solely focused on Stellar. And for now, we're still very early as an industry, and we're very early as a company as well. But we already are getting a good traction. Last year, we issued the first USD denominated bond. Currently, we have approximately 250 million in pipeline from clients that have approached us. And actually, we'll be launching the platform probably in the next couple of months with the issuance that has social impact aspect to it. Happy to discuss that as well. Basically, we got from just a couple of PR events, we've gotten an inbound interest over $1 billion so far. Obviously, there's this future that we all are striving for and would love to see, but there are still some challenges left in the market that we need to resolve, and a lot of smart people are actually working on. One of them is what is called qualified custody, and currently the qualified custody only applies to blockchain assets that are stored in cold storage, air-gapped storage. But the problem with that is that, for example, we have a lot of integrated activities that require a private key to be signed literally on the blockchain. So, which means that a person actually needs to go inside a vault and actually sign a transaction physically, which is sort of losing the whole purpose of the blockchain, of the instant activities, instant settlement, and so on. So I think that regulations need to adapt to the new market as well. Apart from that, stablecoins, I think that Stellar is doing a really good job so far in basically seeking the on-ramps of fiat. But there's not enough players that are working on institutional level fiat on-ramps, which is a huge deal for us. That's why we have a partnership with BitGo, where we'll be actually creating a private stablecoin that would be used on our platform only at first. And then obviously this market change as a whole. We're all humans, and it's not about technologies. At the end of the day, it's about humans, and it's really hard to find the incentives for 74 billion problem every year to change. So let me switch to the demo, and actually what I'll do now is I'll show you what we have built so far. Let me see what's happening here. So basically, this environment is our demo environment, and this is sadly not the latest platform that we have developed. This is previous version, but we'll still show you the functionality basically. Let's do that. So the platform is natively built on the Stellar ledger. Here, the very first view is the dashboard. You will see as sort of the holdings that you have. If you think about the whole platform, then it's literally only meant for digital bonds. It's not meant for real estate. It's not meant for equities. Not meant for LP interests and so on. We're solely focused on the fixed income market, and the differentiator between us and, let's say, our competitors that are tokenizing the world is that we're not tokenizing the world. We're building a platform for the fixed income market, and it happens to be that we're tokenizing. So let's start. This is sort of my holdings view. I can see that I have a bond right here. You will see that it contains all of the information that you would find in a normal security. You can also see that it has a public key itself, so we actually issue a bond as an account on the blockchain, and this account then subsequently issues assets you know, as a separate account on the chain. So, you know, for the transparency purposes, you will able to see all of the payments that have been paid so far. You'll see the technical details of the bond history as well, when it has been issued, whether the payments have gone through, and so on. You can see the owners of this bond as well. Right now, it's just solely just me, with my holding of $30 million in principal. And you know, we can also see the payment schedule from one single view. So let me also point out that we're sort of, in order for users to get on the platform, we're doing a complete KYC AML check. So before they can participate and actually issue or trade bonds, they actually need to go through sort of KYC and AML checks. So let me do the main thing, I guess. Let me issue an asset on the Stellar testnet. There are two ways how to issue assets through our platform. Is either direct issuance, where you know the counterparty that is going to be buying this bond, or you can create a syndicate where you can fundraise through the platform. Let's say we will issue 100 million with the issue date today. We'll do it as a bullet payment with a 10-year maturity, paid quarterly. What is really cool about blockchain, though, is that in the future we'll be able to issue bonds that are paying coupon, let's say, daily or even more frequently. So let's say Axios. Axios will be raising money today. Here you can also check, sort of encode all these aspects directly to the asset itself. You can basically choose the country where it will be marketed. You can choose the currency. You can choose the custodian that will be holding these assets. You can choose sort of the payment servicers, payment agents, and so on. Add some documentation to this. Not this time, and next thing is that you can actually encode also sort of compliance aspects to it. For example, in Reg D offerings, you'll not be able to transfer this bond within a year since issuance because of the sort of the regulatory restrictions. You can also restrict certain jurisdictions. Let's say not a fan of Argentina right now, then. For this demo purpose, we can also add like subscription agreement. We can add the threshold for issuance, minimum pledges, and so on. Right now, if you take a look at all of the fixed income securities, most of them will be denominated in like $1,000 increments. With the blockchain, obviously, you can create it way smaller. Let's say $1 increments, which is really cool for smaller investors and so on. Review the information, and basically right now I have published it to the platform. Right now this asset is not a digital asset on the blockchain. It still is actually awaiting pledges. So Marcus, I believe, is actually logging into his platform as an investor, and in real time is going to pledge to this account, and hopefully you can cover the $100 million that I'm raising. And I'm on the bonds.fit network environment, by the way. In the meantime, I can take a look at what kind of pending activities I have myself. I think that Marcus actually tried to trade with me. So he tried to trade with me some other bonds, which we'll be able to take. So Marcus, did you do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So Axios LLC. I can see that now the 100% of what I'm looking for has been pledged. I can take a look who it was, and it's Marcus. And right now I'm gonna start the process of creating a digital security actually on the blockchain. So again, reviewing the information, all the cash flows that I can see here, which is really cool actually. In our future implementations, every single cash flow that you can see here can be sold as a separate asset. What we call is expected cash flows, and that can create like new types of financial instruments down the road, which is really cool. So right now it's a two-step process. First is we are creating the bond account on the blockchain. And by the way, my key is actually stored with BitGo right now. It's connecting literally to their wallets. And we are not, as a platform, we're not holding the private key. This is stored with the custodian. And the second point, this bond asset now is going to issue the bond to and distribute the bond to Marcus, who participated in this primary sale. So I'm confirming again, and I'm signing a transaction to transfer the bond to Marcus. And in stellar terms, I have reserved it right now, and it's currently in transit. So Marcus there is now accepting the trade on the other side, and this is all happening in real time over the chain. And let's refresh. Yep. So it has been transferred, and now what is sort of left to do is to take a look at that. Yeah. So now the buyer has been has received the bond, and it's all in the account of Marcus right now. What my legal obligation now is obviously to pay the coupon that I promised when I issued this bond. Basically, I need to repay Marcus because he gave me the money. So if we take a look at my cash position, it has increased by 100 million because it's sort of he pledged it. I received the money in my account, which I can sort of withdraw, triggering the burn of the stable coin and triggering the bank transfer to my actual bank account. So I'm going to confirm this. Again, I'm signing a transaction on the blockchain right now, sending the stable coins back to sort of the custodian that is holding the physical cash. It has been done, and basically I withdraw my 100 million. But now let me manage this bond as a responsible issuer. I'm going to pay back Marcus and take a look at this bond. So it's again a two-step process. Usually it's been done by obviously the issuer sending the money to a payment agent, and the payment agent then distributes that across the investors. Here you can do it. You can combine these roles. So for me, what I'll do right now, I'll allocate the funds. The coupon is 375,000. So I'm going to allocate that. Again, transactions happening over the blockchain. It's, the money is being sent to the account of the bond. Right now, basically, my duty as the issuer has been fulfilled. I have sent the money to the account. Now the next step is actually for the payment agent to distribute the funds to the investor that owns the bond, so Marcus. And this can be done, by separate roles, separate accounts, and so on. But right now, this is like an admin account where you can do everything. So what I'll do now is literally click a button again. I'll send the stablecoin to Marcus's account, triggering the transaction on the blockchain. It's all and it all can be basically verified over the public ledger as well. So this coupon has been paid. I can take a look at, let's say, Stellar Expert on the testnet. I'm going to take a look at the account on the public blockchain, and I'm going to see that it has happened on the public ledger. So this is kind of the workflows that we currently have. The newer version has a much bigger compliance module where you can actually encode a lot of more sophisticated stuff related to fixed income securities. So this is kind of just a demo for you to understand that blockchain securities are actually not that complicated in terms when you strip out all of the complexities related to keys, accounts, and so on. This is, you tell me how intuitive this is, or we'd love to hear from you.